What are you saying to yourself? That's a good question, isn't it? The things that you say to yourself can have a profound effect on your enjoyment of life, your levels of stress, and your ability to achieve your goals. So it's very important to be aware of the things that you are saying to yourself. My name's Lee D. Wilson, and I'm a Master Executive Coach, and I help busy professionals quickly let go of their inner struggles so that they can achieve greater success and enjoyment of life. While I'm talking to you right now, at the back of your mind, there's probably a whole lot of thoughts passing by. You could well be thinking, I wonder how long this talk is going to go on for. Is it really going to be of any value to me? What are we going to have for dinner tonight? Maybe I should be doing that report instead of listening to this guy. Undoubtedly, a lot of thoughts going through the back of your mind, and they're not always going to be constructive or helpful. It's estimated that the average person has says about 60,000 to 80,000 things to themselves every day. And for many people, these comments are negative. They are often brooding over things that have happened in the past, mulling over feeling the guilt, self-criticism, the regret, the anger, the pain of things that have happened in the past. For many people, other people, they can be worrying about things that might be going to happen in the future. In fact, it's been proven that most people have unfounded worries about what's going to happen in the future, that in fact things don't turn out as badly as we often might expect. And very few of these thoughts are probably or possibly about what's happening right now. But in fact, that's all we've got. The only moment we have is the moment that we're in right now. So these negative thoughts can have a very debilitating effect, and they can reduce your self-esteem and your feelings of self-worth. A metaphor that's commonly used for the mind is that of an iceberg. We know that we only see 5% of an iceberg above the water level. 95% of it is below the water level. And the same is pretty much with the mind. We're aware of the 5% of the conscious mind, but much of the mind is unconscious, and 95% of it is unconscious. And we can look on this unconscious mind as being something like a 7 to 9 year old child that's trying to look after us, trying to take care of us and protect us in quite a simple and unsophisticated way. One of the ways that we can get some insight into our unconscious mind is through the words that we use. Particularly words that are used unconsciously, that just come to mind very quickly without deep thought. These provide a link between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, and it's a two-way link. By saying negative things to our conscious mind, that can limit us in a conscious way, but our conscious mind can also put negative thoughts into our unconscious mind too. So it's a two-way link, and by working on the words that we use, we can change what the responses that we get. Now, if you imagine somebody that is filled with negative thoughts, they're all day long thinking these 60,000 to 80,000 negative thoughts all day long, think how debilitating that is. And imagine a real 7 to 9 year old child sitting beside you 24/7, having to deal with all this self-criticism and lack of self-worth. It'd be very, very damaging, and I'm sure this 7 to 9 year old child would give in after not very long at all. It'd be much better if you were giving this 7 to 9 year old child encouraging thoughts, thoughts that were helping increase the chances of this child having greater success. It'd be far, far better. It's been said that the lives we lead are in fact dictated very much by the thoughts that we have. Imagine being a tightrope walker and trying to walk up high on a tightrope, suspended between two buildings, and filling yourself with negative thoughts. The chances of success are significantly reduced, and obviously people that achieve great success just don't allow those sort of negative thoughts to fill their minds. So by becoming more aware of our negative thoughts, we can try and do something about it. We can try and replace them with far more constructive thoughts. In fact, it's not just the thoughts themselves, it's actually the words we use, the way we use them. Just like the words we use and the way we, when we're talking to somebody else, and the way we talk to them can have a profound effect on them, it's exactly the same with ourselves. And so we want to take care with the way that we deal with ourselves so that we give ourselves the best opportunity for success and happiness. It can be constructive to think about the tone of voice, and even the voice that is you are talking to yourself with. Is that the voice of a critical parent, perhaps, or a critical colleague or partner? Maybe it's something buried in your unconscious that you're carrying around with you all the time. And you can change this voice. You can change the impact of these comments by simply changing the tone of the voice. Maybe give the voice a Mickey Mouse voice, or a Donald Duck voice, or some humorous voice, and you'll find that the words have less power and less impact. Another way of dealing with negative thoughts can be to write them down. Write them down and analyse them critically with your conscious mind. Is there any truth in them really? How likely are these things actually going to occur? By analysing them logically, you've got a much better chance of being more realistic rather than just letting them bubble away in the background. One way some people deal with negative thoughts that are persistent is by having a rubber band around their wrist, and they'll flick it every time they find themselves thinking these negative thoughts. It causes a momentary little bit of pain, and it reminds them, no, that's not what I want to be doing. So they change their thoughts and rechannel them. Another trick is to promise yourself, okay, later in the day I'll think about these things in this way. For the moment I'm not going to, and put them aside. Or you can say, okay, put those thoughts over in the corner. I can just sit over there. I can think about those things later on. Right now, I don't need to think about them. And then fill your mind with positive thoughts. Another very, very powerful way of overcoming the problem of persistent negative thoughts is the practice of mindfulness, living in the now. And that's something that I've practiced for many years. And I can assure you it's one of the most powerful practices that I could suggest to anybody. I'll talk about that in future videos. And I'll also be talking about negative thoughts and language that we use, again, in more detail in later videos. Sometimes people have such persistent negative thoughts, they really have trouble dealing with them. And in this case, it can be worthwhile seeing a coach, a skilled coach, who can help you get to the limiting, unwanted beliefs that might be underlying these thoughts, the limiting beliefs and emotions. And with a skilled coach, the skilled coach can help you change those limiting beliefs, because after all, a belief is just an opinion that you've decided to make as fact, and change them and get rid of the limiting emotions so that you're no longer troubled by them. So this can have a very, very profound effect, and it can change the course of someone's life massively. So there's some thoughts for you. If you're interested in what I've got to say, there'll be subscribe links somewhere, and feel free to follow me on the various social media platforms. Thank you for listening.